answering that question, you should ask yourself, what is the role of the deputy president? Is the principal assistant to the president. Meaning that he only speaks of things approved by the government. And the government here is the executive. So that whatever he speaks, we hold the president accountable and the entire cabinet. Because the deputy president, in absence of the president, should be speaking for the president. You should ask yourself, if this money was released at all, then when are they expected, or when are they expecting to release it? Because if at all it is to be released, then it's to be released now.
Yes. Does it also concern you that the DP did not even tell us when this money was gonna get released?
He did not.
He did not.
He did not. He did not. Initially, you see, sometimes I really look at this government with pity. Because anytime they are put to task,
yes,
they will always shift goalposts. They will always find someone to blame. If it is not Raila Odinga, it will be Uhuru Kenyatta, it will be now the Council of Governors. A time will come when all the trees will fall and the monkey will have nowhere to run. Because you cannot have a government that is founded on lies. We as Kenyans should hold this government responsible.
Yes.
And we should, it's high time. In fact, I was talking to a friend this morning that these are some of the things that we should take lead roles and make serious litigation out of it to advance human rights, public litigation. Because if at all this money was released and then you still hold it, yet people are dying, do you want to release it when the devastating effects have gone so high, and now that we will only release it to compensate the affected families? That is what the Kenyan government, and many a times, we have a reactive government. We do not prepare well in advance. And when you do not prepare well in advance, you are caught pants down. And when you are caught pants down, then you have no defense. It could be that even this money could have been released, but then embezzled.
It's a possibility now, isn't
It's a possibility, because in the absence of any contrary evidence tendered by the government why they are not releasing this money,
yes,
and this is the assumption.
Yes.
The money was released, it has been embezzled. The same thing that is happening with the fuel. We are not seeing value for our money. 17 billion was released to mitigate the oil situation, but we cannot see anything. As fuel prices reduce in other countries, ours keep rising. And that is something I would come to talk about as we progress with our conversation. But in very responsive government, Simba, where leadership and integrity are upheld, then DP Gachagua ought to have resigned.
Then the first person to resign then would have been the president.
You see,
Semba,
yes.
Here's the thing, and I would beg your indulgence in this.
Yes.
If you are the CS Treasury, the Met Department has already done its job completely. There's somebody who gets paid to advise the country on exactly how the weather patterns are going to be. Then somebody does his job, tells you, oh, guys, in 2 months, we are more than 90% sure this country is going to go back into El Nino. And we have examples. I mean, President Dr. William Ruto,
yes,
was in government when this country went to El Nino in 1998. He knows exactly what happened in this country.
Yes.
I mean, if he could have been the first person to react now that he's in power, he would have said, guys, I know exactly what El Nino means. And that man there telling us that we're going into El Nino, I've got example. Let's please get ready. 1 month down the line, in a church service, the president comes in and says, well, guys, God is so good. There is no El Nino that's going to happen in this country. Then a couple of weeks later, more than 33 counties are drenched. In fact, Kenyans are losing their lives. today and counting, Simba.
Yes.
Some areas have been cut off completely.
Yeah,
You've seen exactly what has happened to even the police in this country who are trying to
Yes.
send food supplies in El Nino heat areas. Majority of them have lost their lives, and there's proper destruction of property. Teachers are dying just from delivering exams
Yes.
to the El Nino heat areas.
Yes.
Should he be the first person to say, maybe I misadvised the Treasury? Because if you are the CS Treasury and your president is here telling you, well, there's no El Nino, man, why would I release that money, Simba? Why would I release it?
Who misadvised who, Simba?
It is the president misadvising the country and the Treasury at large.
I'm not holding brief for the president.
Yes.
And I will never do that.
As a-
But my question is, the president came, and I think after the church service, there is a time he stood and gave a press conference to that effect, that he had received an advice from the meteorological department that the effect of El Nino would not be as expected.
Does that?
When the
Met boss also
Yes.
now later is asked,
Yes.
who gave the brief to the president? The Met boss goes like, guys, I do not know who told the president that we're going to have these effects. We well told them. And in fact, he's saying we're on record. Go check the records. So when the president comes in and saying that I got brief from the Met Department,
Exactly.
but the Met Department are saying that checkers, we are on record telling this country that look here, the government is going to go, the country is going to experience El Nino. That's what I'm saying, that Simba, whether we like it or not, at one point, the president has to come in and own and say, it's me. That's why the Treasury hasn't released this money, because I gave contradictory statements from what the Met Department said, Simba.
And I wonder, where is the government spokesman in all this? Where is the clarification? You see, a government is not run on instincts.
As a-
A government is run on proper advice.
Yes, sir.
And that is why in all these parastatals and these departments, we need to put technocrats. So that when a technocrat gives his opinion or our opinion, or as a department they give their opinion, then unless they retract it,
Yes.
then that remains the supreme position. You cannot, by your own instinct, now come and downplay the entire thing. In that, I agree with you, Simba, that the president, the deputy president,
Yes.
the cabinet secretary should own and take responsibility for all that is happening to Kenyans.
Yes, sir.
But most importantly, the meteorological department, if at all they briefed the president, then the entire board should be disbanded. Because we cannot live in a country whereby everything is done in a clueless manner. Everything is being guessed and nothing seems to be working. You see? And this is something that, Simba, it comes when you, and again, that is something that we have seen, which again I think we'll talk, that a government should be run on the basis of competence. So that when you bring anyone to a position of a cabinet secretary,
Yes.
or a CEO, or even a chairman of a department, then this should not only be informed by where they are coming from or their origin. It should be based on competence. It should be based on what they have done in the past,
Yes.
and their qualifications.
That's right.
So when you miss out on that, Simba, then you miss out on everything.
Does that? Here's the thing, and if Sheila,